And we'll let you know it is 11:08, and we do have local author David Grant in the studio to talk about his published books and perhaps some projects coming up in 2024. David, how are you today?
I'm pretty good, thanks, Megan. How are you?
Yeah, well, I'm so pleased to have you coming in and talking with me, particularly as you are local, so you know exactly what Dubbo's like, the beauty of Dubbo and what it has to offer, and you've in fact written some poetry about it.
I have, yeah. I've been writing poetry for many years, and I've lived in Dubbo for most of my life. I was born and bred, and outside of about 5 or 6 years on some coastal cities in Sydney, I've pretty much lived here my whole life, and I've lived and breathed the culture, and had quite a few experiences and interactions with a lot of fascinating people who have lived fascinating lives. And writing something that I've always just been compelled to do, and that's basically how it manifested and evolved, poetry about Dubbo and my life in Dubbo and other people's lives in Dubbo.
Yeah, for sure. Now, obviously, you've told me that you've been to university and you've got a degree in creative writing. Is creative writing always something you've been attracted to, even as a teenager and a child? Have you always been that person that was writing worlds to escape into?
Yeah, it was always my favourite subject, even way back in primary school when I was at Arana Heights.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to Arana Heights.
There you go. But yeah, writing and going to the library, reading books, it was probably my favourite subject, favourite part of school, going there. I mean, you know, the other subjects were okay, but I'd always sort of light up and become more enthusiastic whenever the written word was involved.
You and me both. You and me both. Maths can just go sit over there. No, we're not here for maths.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
But tell me, so this book that I've got it right in front of me, it's called Alive in Dubbo, and I love this because, as we were just talking about local, and you did mention to me earlier about the local landscape and culture, and a lot of people think Dubbo, culture, they don't go together, but they totally do. Tell me about your perspective on this.
Well, I've found that outside of Dubbo, it's often been overlooked. You know, it's sort of been disregarded by many on the coast. You know, it's called the Great Dividing Range for a reason.
That's
you know,
very true. Yes.
But I think that there's so much more to Dubbo than just meets the eye. You know, the whole culture, men and women, what life is like out here. It's very blue collar, and there's a lot of fascinating insights into how life is lived and how life is coped with, and how people become so resilient under the pressures of living out here.
Very much so. And I think as well, you went to Wollongong. We just realised that. We had a bit of a chat before David came in and realised we both went to Wollongong Uni. And you'd probably understand as well, one of the experiences that I had going to Wollongong Uni, when people asked me where I was from, I'd say Dubbo. Oh, Dub Vegas. You're from Dub Vegas. And I think, oh, we are so much more than that.
Yeah.
But this book, Alive in Dubbo, a book of poems, there was a poem in there that you were going to read out for us. Would you do the honours?
I will.
Yay.
Okay.
This one's called Diesel Exhaust.
Okay. Diesel exhaust. Trafalgar Place. Ruts in the road. Painted along the gutter. All drains lead to Troy Gully. And on Wirraway Close, a dented no-through road sign. An old house was torn down, leaving nothing but a jade plant. Like the stark withered tree outside Dan Murphy's, the corner of Windsor Parade. There is manual labour, and there is drinking, and words within words. Are you okay?
I love it. And look, you picked this poem. What is it about this poem?
It's about this. It's like this undercurrent of, although there's a lot of bleakness to the culture of Dubbo, there is a light in that darkness, and I think that says a lot about what I was suggesting earlier: human resilience. You know, our ability to survive under all sorts of circumstances, and to cope and to endure. and I think that's alluded to in that particular poem. There are some other ones that go into greater depth and detail and are more specific, but that one's more of a general. That one's more of a general illustration, if you will.
Yeah, no, I really like that, and I read it earlier as well. I just thought that last line, the "Are you okay?" in the conversations, that resonated with me, particularly as you talk about resilience. You know, you don't become resilient without going through some tough things.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people in Dubbo, particularly with some of the experiences that we've had over the last couple of years, would probably resonate with that.
Oh, for sure.
And there's a reason why you won the Flying Islands Emerging Poets Prize in 2022, and I can tell you, if it was based on that poem, I can understand it.
Yeah.
But you're more than poetry, aren't you?
I am more than poetry. I'm currently working on a novel, on my first novel. That's probably going to be taking a while, though. It's a much larger project, so you'll probably hear a bit more of that later on down the track. But I've also written a children's book, which I did in collaboration with a wonderful artist who lives in Melbourne. Her name's Carla Santos, and I met her through a friend of a friend. She was looking for a project. I was looking for a collaborator. And I presented to her the synopsis and the story of A Day in the Life of Natalie Numbat, which is what the story's called. And we got together and we talked about it, and we got along really well. And now it's available.
And it's available locally. So obviously, if anyone knows of the Book Connection, Mr. Pankhurst, head on down there and you can buy. It's an illustrated children's book.
Yes.
And it's also available at the Dubbo Library, you said.
It is, yeah. The Dubbo Library's got 1 or 2 copies. They've also got a couple of copies of Alive in Dubbo as well. So that's good. It's always good to get some support.
Absolutely, some local representation. I mean, if you can't get local representation here, what's going on, you know?
Exactly.
And we take a lot of pride in our local artists, particularly when they have done amazing things like this, writing the poetry and also an illustrated children's book with upcoming projects. We're going to be watching you with a very keen eye, I think, to see what comes up. But thank you so much for coming and talking to me. And it's been wonderful to hear about the book. And I have been gifted Alive in Dubbo myself. And I am so pleased that I have this. I'm going to get you to sign it before you go.
Okay.
And I can't wait to read through that and hear more of your poems. But thank you so much for coming and talking to me, David.
Oh, thank you. It's been nice to be here.
Absolutely. And it is 11:15 here at DCFM 88.9.